Good morning, all. We're up on the creek where we did the our little crevicing contest, and I'm sitting right next to crevice number 3, and we're back with a high banker. We're up on the creek. It's still fairly early in the morning, and I'm thinking you can probably hear the creek. I'll spin the camera around here in a minute and show you. It's running pretty strong. But we're up on the creek where we did our crevicing contest, I don't know, several months ago. And this is our first chance we've had to get back in. The only difference is we're back with a high banker. Okay, let me spin this camera around and show you the creek, and then give you an idea of what I got in mind this morning. Now you can see this creek is running pretty strong. Okay, well right here is what was crevice number 3 in our video. And if you haven't seen the video, go back and check it out, give you a kind of a history of what we're doing here today. And you can tell the water's been up here since we were in here last. Well, I found a nice little picker right here. And this gravel right in here, we're on the inside, this rock wall kind of runs out here and protects us from the flow. And we got a nice little gravel bar built up here. Now, I never have been much for gravel bars. They're, I guess, more work than I want to do. But the creek's way too high to get anywhere near it. And I'm kind of intrigued about this picker we got out of here. So today's plan, we're going to set the high banker up here and work some of this gravel, see if we can get another picker or two. Okay, well, I'm going to get stuff set up right now. Okay, you can see here we got our pump set up, and then we're running the hose up the hill, make a big loop, then we're going down to our sluice box. Now the sluice box we got set up, we're going to be working right here. We don't want it so close we get water back into our work area. We got a nice drop off here. Got plenty of time to work through the gravel to get back to the river, so we don't have to worry about muddying up the river. And we're only a few feet from our work area, and we got it all set up. Got a level on this side that tells us level this way, and then once we run some gravel, we got to establish our drop. But I got it set right now pretty close, I hope. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start throwing the rocks, getting our overburden cleaned up, and then once we get that worked out, we'll fire this up, run a couple pans through it, get our box set, and then we'll just stockpile our gravel right here. So we get a pile of gravel, then we'll fire it up and run it all through and do our first test run. Okay, let's get to work. Okay. Now we're gonna rake all the rocks off the top that we can. Now, when you throw your rocks, make sure you throw them in an area where you know you're not gonna go. You don't want to throw them like down over here and then find out that you got to go that way to chase the gold. So you got to make sure you throw them in a spot you know you're not going to be doing any prospecting. That way you don't have to handle them more than once. Okay, we're just going to keep raking this until we get it down to basically just the stuff that we can run through the box. Now we just digging down through this overburden, and I hit another layer, and I'm going to try to show it to you here. I don't know if you can see the difference. Up here, we've got just sand. But right here, we've hit a red layer that's really packed, and it's got more dirt or clay in it. Now, we don't want to disturb this lower layer yet. We'll keep pulling all our material back here, right down to that layer, and then once we get a big area opened, we'll run this material through the sluice box, take a look, and then we'll come back, dig this different material, stop and check it, and see if one's carrying more gold than the other. Okay, time to fire that thing up and let's run some gravel. Okay, we're going to run a little bit of gravel in there. We'll take a look at our box. Make sure we got our angle correct. Okay. Actually, our angle looks really good. Okay. Let's move some material. Now you want to keep an eye on the material you pull off the top of the screen. You never know when you might get a nice hunk of gold or a good piece of specimen. That's a nice thing about the Highbanker. That material, when it comes off the screen, is all nice and washed, so you can see it very clearly. We got that first run, removed all that gravel there. Now I'm going to clean the sluice box out, pan it out to see how we did, if we got any gold at all. And then we'll jump into that second layer and do the same thing. We'll stockpile it, run it through, pan it out, and see if we want to get into that lower stuff or if we want to stay in the upper stuff. That's the nice thing about this little tiny Highbanker. It only takes a second to clean it up. No nuggets, darn it. Okay, I'm going to take this down, wash it out, pan it out. Be right back. Okay, well, we did get a few pieces of gold out of there. Let me show you. Okay, you can see there we got some fine gold, but we got some gold. Okay. Okay, now we're going to take out this section right here, this lower layer. We'll see how deep that is. It is definitely packed a lot tighter than the stuff on top. Okay, well, we got us quite a hole dug here. This bedrock is stair-stepping down, and we're following the bedrock down. Now the gravel that's in here is packed pretty good, but the thing I don't like is there's a lot of dirt in with it, which makes me think it may have been deposited here during one big flood event, which may not be so good. Because what you want is you want an accumulation over the years rather than just one big event. Well, I'm ready to run that, so let's run that and we'll know in a minute. Now this has got a little bit of dirt in it. Well, actually it's got quite a bit of dirt in it. So we're going to have to run it a little bit slower. Make sure that everything gets washed off real well. And this water is cold. Okay, we got the box all cleaned out and put back together. Got us a pan full of concentrates here that hopefully we got some gold in. So I'm going to take this over to the one calm spot I can find and pan it out. So I'll be right back. I'm afraid that gravel's been deposited by just one event because we basically got no gold. We have a few little fly specks in here. I'll try to show those to you. But once we got into that dirt, our gold stock. So what we need to do is, I'm going to move upstream a little bit and try to get back onto the bedrock where the gravel's been washed. That way, over the years, it's got time to accumulate gold rather than coming across something that was just deposited one time. Now, if we can get under that flood layer and find washed gold, that would be a different story. But right now, that flood layer, that dirt, is right down on the bedrock. So I don't think we're going to find any gold in that. Right here is crevice number 3. We stopped right in here. Now I've taken it on down to where it's starting to level off and then open this up right here. Basically what we've done is we've stockpiled all the overburden. So we're going to run that, and if that looks good, then we're going to bust up as much of this bedrock as we can and clean it out the best we can, and we're going to run that. So we got a stockpile here right now, so let's run that and see if we're picking up gold again, because we're back in the washed gravel now. We're no longer in that dirt. Okay. Well, I just got that panned out, and this is our best pan by far. This looks really good. Let me show you this. Okay, you can see here we got quite a bit of fairly chunky gold right there. Not a lot of fine gold, a few pieces, but not a lot. Okay, I'm going to clean this up right now, put it in the snuffer bottle, find me a shady spot and eat some lunch, because the sun's finally hit me down here and it's warm. I'm not used to this sun. The water is freezing, but the sun's warm. Okay, I'm going to eat a little lunch, clean this up, and then we're going to bust that bedrock up and see if we can find some chunky stuff. Well, I've been working on that chunk of bedrock for a couple hours now, and I got her all cleaned up, and it's starting to drop off again, and it's going under some big boulders, so we're not going to be able to chase it. I'm hoping if we do good here in our last cleanup, we may come back after the water's dropped and try to go on the other side of the boulders, but that's under the water right now, so we'll have to just see how it looks once the water goes down. That is, if our last cleanup's any good. I haven't seen a piece of gold yet. I haven't seen any lead. I haven't seen any iron. But then again, I don't have the metal detector on this trip. So I kind of feel naked without my metal detector. So I'm going to fire up the pump, and we're going to run the last of this gravel through, and then clean up and see how we did. And I want to leave enough time I can do a little exploring before we get out of here today. So this may be our last run for the day. Well, I got that all panned out, and this is one nice pan. I thought we had some really big pieces, but they turned out to be really flat pieces, but they're still nice pieces. Check this out. Now you can see here, we got some beautiful pieces of gold. These look huge, but they are paper thin. They're both real thin, but they're nice hunks of gold. I'll take them. Well, the best part of this is I can't suck those up with the snuffer bottle. I'm going to have to pick them up. It's been a while since I've seen some nice gold. It's been a long, cold winter. Okay, well, I'm going to get this cleaned up, Then I'm going to do a little bit of exploring, and I think I'm going to turn the pump on and take the hose and just kind of wash that area down and see if there's anything in there I might have missed. Because after looking at this pan, I want to check every little bit of that I possibly can. Okay. Well, I had to break down and head for the shade. It's, I doubt if it's 70 degrees, but I tell you what, it's early in the season, so it feels like 100. I hiked up and down the creek quite a ways, and there's just too much water. We can't get near anything that looks decent. So at this point, I think we're gonna grab everything up, load her up, and start our hike back to the truck. So I will see you back at the house. Well, we're back at the house, and yeah, it's the next morning. Okay, well, let's see what we got in the way of gold. Okay, the first thing we're gonna do is weigh our nugget. 0.66 pennyweights, a little over half a pennyweight. Okay. And that is 1.03 grams. Okay. And our total for the day was 3.07, if I can make a mind up, 3.07 grams. Or 1.96 pennyweights, almost 2 pennyweights. Well, I'm going to call that 2 pennyweights, and in my book, that's a pretty good day. One thing I want to cover real quick before I forget about it. Here in Northern California, in the early spring, when the weather just starts warming up, in my opinion, it's the most dangerous time to go mining. And the big danger is ticks. The bears, the rattlesnakes, all that kind of stuff, you can avoid those guys. But the ticks, they carry some terrible diseases that you just don't want to get. So it's a lot easier to keep them out of you than it is to cure after you get it. So, you know, when you go in, be sure you take precautions. You know, I douse myself with off. I wear light colored clothing so I can see them. And, you know, I take a can in with me, and before I hike out, I cover myself again, spray myself down again. And, you know, you just want to be careful, like I say. In the summer, it's not so bad. They I don't know if they die off or just go away, but, you know, when it gets warm, you know, during the summertime, they don't seem to be near as bad. Now, the next week or so, the weatherman's calling for a lot of rain, real warm storms. Now, it's probably going to shut us out of the rivers, but as long as it doesn't have any snow, and it might actually take away some of the snow, we can get up in the hills, and if we can't go mining, we'll go treasure hunting. Either way, we're going to go up, have a little bit of fun. Now, if you're not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, and that way you'll know when I put out another video. And right now, I'm going to give Jeff a call and let him in on the good news, and I'm going to say, you have a wonderful day.